Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's video, I want to share another in-depth perfume review, and we're going to be discussing another dupe for Tom Ford, Lost Cherry. I am personally a huge fan, lover of the original. However, Tom Ford is not cruelty-free, so I have had to rely on finding dupes or inspired recreations, if you will, of the iconic original Lost Cherry. I have found a couple that I think are really lovely, and in this video, I'm gonna share another super affordable, really close dupe of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. And this one comes to us courtesy of the clone. Their version of Lost Cherry is called Naked Cherry number 33. Now, this is only the second The Clone perfume that I've ever reviewed. A couple of weeks ago, I shared my review of one of their other dupes, which was the Baccarat Rouge 540. If you are interested in my thoughts on their version of the original Baccarat Rouge 540, I will link that video in the description box. Also in the description box, I'll put a link to where you can find this one. If you're interested in it, I do have a discount code that you can use to save yourself a little bit of money. This version of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry is going to come in well under $40. So this is a really great deal. And this is an extrait de parfum formulation. So it's really a quite potent version of the original. If you are at all interested in a very close dupe, then you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for this review here. So like I said, if you're interested in this one, check out the description box, and I'll also be sure to link my review of the very first The Clone fragrance that I ever reviewed. I think this is a great dupe brand that I think is definitely worth checking out if they happen to have a dupe of something that you're looking for. I think the price point is fantastic. Also, all of these products are cruelty-free and they are made in the US. So anyway, check out the description box if you're interested in any of what I was just mentioning here. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dig into my review of Naked Cherry number 33. Before we get into the actual fragrance review, I just want to give you a quick look at the perfume bottle itself and the atomizer, so you know what you are getting with respect to that. So all of the Clone fragrances are packaged in the same perfume bottles, so there's no variation based on the scent. They're all the same. The bottle itself is a nice heavy glass bottle. They all come with a plain white label on them that obviously denotes the fragrance. The glass itself has kind of a like smoky gray color to it. It's nice and thick. It's a good quality bottle, I will say that. The lid is, it's not magnetic, but it definitely secures onto the atomizer very nicely, so it's not going to go anywhere. In fact, I did travel with this fragrance several weeks ago. We went to Canada, so I popped this in my suitcase because I wanted to test it out while we were on vacation, and the lid stayed put the entire flight there as well as the entire flight back. So definitely travel approved here, I guess you could say. But yeah, no fancy packaging. What you're paying for here is definitely the quality of the actual fragrance inside. Speaking of the fragrance, let's go ahead and apply so that you can see how just absolutely fabulous this atomizer is. This atomizer has a really nice fine mist to it, so it's not like a heavy splat or stream that like runs down your arm or stains your clothing. Really, really love this atomizer, so let's go ahead and take a look. Isn't that delightful? Man, I love a nice fine mist. This is a really good dupe, you guys. I think this particular version is just a tiny bit sweeter than the original, but I think this is really, really spot on. Now, if you've never actually smelled the original Tom Ford Lost Cherry, let me tell you about the fragrance notes in this one, because I really do think this is another really great spot on dupe. I've actually tried a couple of dupes of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, and I found a couple of other good ones as well. But this one is particularly good. Like I said, it's just a touch sweeter, but I actually really like that. So let's go ahead and read through the fragrance notes here, and then I'm gonna tell you what this smells like on my skin. We'll talk about the overall strength of the fragrance, and then the projection, lasting power, all of that fun stuff. So, okay, at the top here we have black cherry, cherry liqueur, and bitter almond. The middle notes are, I'm probably gonna mess this up, griotte syrup. It's basically like a cherry syrup, a really thick, sweet cherry syrup, if you've never heard of it. Turkish rose and jasmine sambac. I love jazz. I'm a huge jasmine fan, and the jasmine in here is so beautiful. And then at the base we have Peru balsam, roasted tonka bean, sandalwood, vetiver, cedarwood, and clove. Now, one thing that I will say about this fragrance is that this is not really a summertime scent for me. I know that, you know, typically summer is cherry season. In fact, I was eating some cherries last night. They are delicious. I love them. But this fragrance is not a light, airy summertime fragrance to my nose. This is definitely something that I love to wear during the fall and the winter months. It is a heavier cherry scent. It's a very deep, dark cherry. It's not light, it's not airy. It's fruity in that it's cherry, but it is quite a perfumey cherry because there's a lot going on in this fragrance. So let's kind of start at the top, and I'm gonna run through and tell you if my nose picks up this particular note, and then I will of course also let you know if there's anything that I smell that isn't listed here. Okay, so with regard to the top notes, the black cherry, yes, very much a deep, dark red, like Bordeaux cherry, like a really, really dark cherry note. It is sweet, but I don't think it's cloying. It is sweet, however, so do know that. If you don't like sweet scents, this one is not gonna be for you. I really feel like that griotte or cherry syrup here that we're gonna go into in the mid notes is what gives this so much of that sweetness. But just naturally, cherries are pretty sweet. Cherry liqueur, yes, there is a little bit of kind of an interesting, almost boozy vibe to this scent. I don't think it's like overly boozy smelling, but you do smell a little bit of that cherry liqueur for sure. The bitter almond. I really like the almond note in this one. I think that cherry and almond pair together very well. In fact, I remember in the 90s when I used the Jergens cherry almond lotion, like I loved that smell, which by the way, if you are looking for a lotion to pair with this one, anything that is like a cherry almond scent from the lotion aisle, that pairs really well with this particular fragrance. So also, if you're having trouble with your perfume lasting on your skin, try moisturizing your skin more. It might be that your skin is too dry. Dry skin does not hold on to fragrance as well as hydrated or really moisturized skin. So always make sure you're applying your fragrances over top hydrated or moisturized skin. All right, these middle notes, you guys, it's that cherry syrup. It is in here in spades. This is so much cherry. There's definitely some almond here, but this is a lot of cherry, and it's quite sweet. And I would say, while not cloying, could be perceived as cloying by some, not by me, but this is a very, very sweet fragrance. And like I mentioned, I think this is actually a little bit sweeter than the original. I do smell a really lovely rose in here. It's a little bit more of like an old-fashioned type of rose scent to my nose. Not like a modern tea rose or anything like that, just a slightly heavier, maybe almost borderline like spicy, older, like Victorian type of rose. The jasmine, beautiful jasmine in here. I would say that the jasmine actually lightens things up a little bit because it, like I said, it is quite a heavy fragrance, but the jasmine is not the star of the show here. It really revolves around all of those cherry notes more than anything else, but I do smell the jasmine in here, and personally I do appreciate it because I'm a huge fan. All right, at the base we have balsam, roasted tonka bean, sandalwood, vetiver, cedarwood, and clove. So those are our base notes. I actually don't smell balsam in this fragrance at all, and I don't really feel like I smell too much in the original either. I do smell a really nice tonka bean note. It's a very deep, almost earthy tonka. To my nose, tonka comes across as almost like an unsweetened, heavier, deeper, darker vanilla. And that really is the type of tonka note that I get from this one. Totally makes sense with the fragrance. It's beautifully blended. I love the sandalwood in here. It's not an overly heavy wood note. I do smell that cedarwood for sure as well. The cedarwood is a little heavier than the sandalwood, but I don't think that the cedarwood overwhelms the sandalwood. It still kind of stands out on its own. Vetiver. This is something that I don't pick up in this particular fragrance at all. I'm okay with that. I don't mind it, but I don't really smell it in this formulation here. And clove. Yes, there is like a hint of spice to this one, and it is very much specifically clove, but it's not like when you're smelling this that it, you know, makes you think of like the pumpkin spice clove per se. It's almost like clove, like the clove doesn't smell like a bakery clove to my nose, which is interesting because a lot of times it usually does just remind me of, you know, pumpkin spice lattes or just pumpkin spice. But yeah, it's a perfumey clove. It's really interesting. I also feel like I get a little bit of amber in here, like a really nice warm resinous amber note. It's not listed, but I do think that on me, for whatever reason, once this really starts to develop on my skin, which yeah, now that it's like really starting to dry down, I definitely smell that amber. It's really nice. I like this a lot in this formulation, but I think it is the cherry that they use here that is really the star of the show. It is so warm. It's very cozy smelling. It definitely lends itself to being a fantastic fall and winter fragrance. I was wearing it obviously this summer because I was testing it out, but this is one of those scents that I typically don't reach for until the colder weather months of the year. And I think this is an absolutely fantastic option. If you are running low, if you are lucky enough to maybe own the original Lost Cherry, but you want to save yourself a little bit of money and you're looking for a very, very similar fragrance to the original, this is it. It's a little sweeter, but it is so close to the original. In terms of the overall like potency or strength of this fragrance, it is one of those really noticeable ones. You do not want to over apply this. It will absolutely enter the room before you do. And it's one of those fragrances that is not, I don't think this is really work friendly per se. This is a date night type of fragrance. This is something to wear on like a romantic evening. I actually like wearing this one to bed, lightly, not too much, just, you know, a nice light spritz that I maybe like walk through instead of applying it directly to my skin if I'm going to be enjoying it overnight. But yeah, this is a heavier fragrance that you do not want to overdo it with. The lasting power honestly is fantastic. This is an extrait de parfum formulation, so it has quite a high concentration of the actual fragrance oils, and it really does stay put on my skin. But I always apply over moisturized skin, so keep that in mind. Overall, you guys, I think this is an absolutely fantastic dupe option. If you've always been looking for one, but you want something that's maybe a little bit sweeter than the original, I don't think you can go wrong with this one, especially for the price point. I mean, it's going to be under $40, and it is a really beautiful formulation that lasts on the skin. And honestly, Smells like $1,000,000. I like this one a lot. I wouldn't mind splurging on the original if Tom Ford was cruelty-free, but they're not. So I, for one, am very grateful that these different, dupe houses, I guess you could call them, are around to recreate a lot of these fragrances that I really adore. But being a cruelty-free shopper, I like to support brands that don't test on animals. And that's the case here. So anyway, I was really excited to be able to share this fragrance with you guys today. If you're interested, I'll have the information for it, like I said, at the top of the description box. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you've tried this one or any of the other clone fragrances. I would love to hear how you guys feel about them as well. So leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you have a great rest of your day. There are more perfumes coming down the pipeline. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.